Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back to our D365 ERP channel. So in this new episode of our production control module, we are going to discuss about the very important part in the production cycle, which is root. So we are going to discuss the root group, and the root version. So in our previous episodes, we have published 5 episodes. In that episode, we discuss about the basics of production, like considering the production strategies, production cycle, and the types of productions. Then we discuss about the bomb versions, and then we move to the operations. We discuss the operation in our previous episode. So resource group, resources, and the calendar. So if you are not watched that previous episode, everything is linked with each other. So let's say if you are skip my previous episode, it doesn't understand. In the demonstration process you will understand what is route and route group, but you'll in the demonstration process we already created a resource group, operations, and calendar. So we are not going to create a new one in this episode. So I strongly recommended you guys to watch the previous episodes and then come back to this episode. So in the demonstration you'll get the better understanding how everything is linked with each other, and in the final output you'll get the proper configuration of the discrete manufacturing process. So let's start with what is root. So a root defines a sequence of operation required to produce a product or product variant. So in the system we already created operation. Now we decide or we input in the system that how all the operation is going to happen. Each operation assign operation number and the successor operation to ensure a structured workflow. Let's say when we perform the operation, let's discuss the types of root, then you understand why the successor operation and operation number is important. So as in the root process we have two types of root. One is simple root, which is, let's say you have four operation A, operation B, operation C, and operation D. So in simple root, once the operation A is completed, then operation B start, and once the operation B stops, operation C start. But in some scenario, like in a root network, it allows the parallel operation. Let's say in operation A is completed and the B and C is parallelly working together. In that scenarios, the successor operation node is very important. So the key benefits of root is ensure the structured manufacturing process you already define in the system. How the production is going to happen is help to accurate scheduling and capacity planning, and it's improve the production efficiency by supporting the parallel operation. In the dynamics you can parallelly run the 20 operation in the same time. So example here is like cutting is step 10, step 20 is assembling, and step 30 is painting, or we can take it as a packing. It's just for example. And in the root network, assembly and painting can happen in the parallel to reduce time. But in the demonstration process we are not going to cover the parallel operation. We keep it as simple as for now, and in the future episode we will try some parallel operation as well. So the next is root versions. As you guys remember, in the bomb as well you have the bomb version. Similarly for the root we have root version. So root version is accommodate variation of the production and provide a greater control over the manufacturing process. It's the key concept of selecting the root process. It's product dimension. Let's say manufacturing a chair, we keep the same example, manufacturing a black chair and blue chair. So to manufacture a blue chair the root process is different, and to manufacturing a black chair the root process is different. So to manufacture a blue chair the root process is different, and to manufacturing the black chair the root process is different. So that's why the versions are created for this one root. Similarly for production quantity, let's say you are manufacturing 100 chair, root process is different. You are manufacturing 1,000 chair, root process is different. If you are manufacturing a production site 1, it's different root process. For 2 it's also different. Similarly from production date, let's say for first 6 months you are using some different root process, and in the last 6 process to like let's say you are need to manage some cost, or to cost efficient you are following some different route process, then based on the date level also you can choose the route process. In the bomb we are using the date as well, we are using the quantity and the site. There is a three option are there. In the route level we have four options. And approval and activation of the route version, so approval is required. Similarly, like bomb, if it's not approved or activate, we can't use this route in the production process. And here the example of the route version: a company producing a steel rod, maybe different route version for shorter and versus longer rods. So let's go to the dynamics and we'll demonstrate whole process. Navigate to the production information. In the production control as well, you can directly create it all in the all route process. You can directly add the new route. You can, in the operations, you can directly add the new route. But as you remember, in the bomb as well, we are not directly created a new bomb. In the production cycle, we go to the production management, create a new FG and assign that bomb to the FG. So similarly, we use the same FG which we created in third episode and assign the route to that finished good. So we go back to the product information management, release product. So last one is our FG, the rest are raw materials. So we select the chair. In the engineering tab, we previously used this bomb section, now we are in the view section. We have the route option, so we click on this route. So here I'm click on edit and new. Similarly, like bomb, we have route version and route versions. So we just click on this route version. First create a new route 1 chair. Okay, now you can simply copy the new route based on the previous route, but as we don't have any route created in the system, so we are not going to copy anything. We are creating from scratch and select the home from production as a side. So in the route level we have two options. One is header and the below we have this line option. So in the route, one route is created and under one route will we add the operation. So in our previous episode we created two operation, which is cutting and assembling for chair, and we are going to use the operation like packing, which is already created in the system. So let's add all three. So here the operation number is always start with the 10, which is a lower number. So lower number has the higher importance. In the priority we have the option of 20. As I said, 20 parallel operation can be run in the dynamics in the same time for production floor. So if you are using the parallel process, only that time you are going to select the secondary 1, secondary 2, secondary 3. But if you are like using this simple route, you are like not using the parallel process, like one operation is completed then the second operation starts, so always keep it as a primary. Next is the operation name. So we already created operation in the previous episode, so we are using the same one. Next is a runtime. So runtime is always considered in R, so we just keep it as 1.25, which means 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, and the process quantity means the number of finished good. So here I am mentioned like every 15 minutes I am going to create or cut. Okay, so now system asks me to add the route group, but add the root group, but we have still not created a root group. We are going to create in the same video in the further process. So let's select the discrete for now. Okay, so let's add discrete. As you guys remember, in the operation when we create a operation, that time as well we not created a root group. That's why system asked me to enter here manually. But in the ideal process, when we create a operation, you assign the root group at at the creation of operations, so system automatically update a root group based on the operation level. So the next setup is general. In the general tab, we already like enter everything in the resource requirement. We as you guys remember, in our previous episode we created a 3 new resources and 1 resource group. So you have both option to assign. Let's say if you are want to assign the individually resources, then you can also assign like that, or you can directly assign the resource group. So as we have already created a resource group, we click on the resource group and assign the new resource group. So chair production, which we have created. So now system ask me, do you want to use the chair production for costing and transfer default time and a cost value to the operation? So whatever the cost value and the default time we've mentioned in the resource group level, system assign the same to this root process. So I just click it as a yes, and in the job scheduling I'm going to disable this one, because job scheduling we have not yet covered. We are going to cover in our future episode, so just keep it as disable. Okay, now we have added one next. So the important part is the next. So the next means after once this process is completed, let's say cutting is completed, what is the next step? So whatever the next step you have added over here, so let's say I'm just keep it as a 20 and click on this 20, and here I mention the 20. So once the cutting process is completed, system check the next step, which is 20. So in the 20 section I'm going to add the assembling. Okay, so once this 20 process is completed, system directly move to the 20, which is assembling. So here I mention the runtime, which is same. For every 15 minutes I'm going to assemble one chair. Here also I am not going to assign the route group in the operation level, so here I am assigning manually. Just save this one. In the resource requirement I am also going to assign the same resource group, chair product, yes, and disable the job scheduling. Just save this one, and in the last we add, oh, I again forgot to add the 30. Okay, so here you can see that the root group is also automatically assigned PROC, because we are using the existing one. So root group is already assigned for this packing operation, so we can directly change from here. So we just, for simplicity, we just keep it as the same. Okay, so now we have added our third step. So system asked me to assign the cost categories. Okay, so I'll just go back to the resource group. Oh, I just select this one, click on the delete the resource group, because as I am using the existing one, system inherit all their resource group and their route group. So I just keep it our mine one. If you are properly configure everything, like in the resource group, in the operation level you mention the resource group and the root group as well, then in the configuration level you not need to manually enter everything like that. System automatically inherit everything. So, and one more important thing, once the all step completed, the last step in the next section, make sure it's 0. So it's 0 means system understand that whenever it's 0 means it's a last step in the root process. So here I'm created one root. Under this root we added the 3 operations. Okay, and we also mentioned their sequence, and in the resource requirement we just disable this one. Oh. So similarly, like bomb version, we need to approve and activate this route, because root is not approved and activated, we are not going to use the same in the production. Okay, so let's click on the root, approve this one, just click on OK. Now I have approved this one. Next, in the next process I'm going to activate this one. So see, the activate toggle is enabled, so this route is approved and activated. Now we can use this route in our production process. So here we have completed a root and a root version. Now we are going back to our presentation and discuss about the root group. So first we understand what is root group. Creating a root group to define a parameter for a group of root. Okay. Similarly, like resource group, and you can specify how costs are calculated and how planning occur and how jobs are managed. Let's here understand in simple term. Let's say you are using the root. In one root the cost is calculated based on the one root, and based on the one root, inside that cost is attached with every operation root process. But let's say in the system or in the job floor you are running three operation parallelly. So how you guys can calculate the cost? So these cost calculation is done on the route group level. In the route group we have that option to decide which operation, like which operations. Let's say in operation you can say it as a, you can call it as a process, then transport, all this operation where the system need to calculate the cost and activation. It's very complex. A root group is bit complex for the beginners. So let's just first navigate to the dynamics so we'll get a better understanding. So I'll just navigate to the production control module. Let's collapse all under the setup, the root. We have root groups. So I'm going, let's take the existing one because we have already assigned this one to the all our resource group, root, resources as well. So let's discuss this one. So first here we have two tabs. One is general and the second one is setup. So in the general we have that estimation and costing. So let's say you are going to in the estimation part we are going to consider the setup time and run time. So you need to enable this toggle. And the third one is quantity. As you guys remember, in our previous episode I have not mentioned the quantity posting journal because we are not going to like calculate the cost based on the quantity. Let's say you are like producing the 100 finished good, then the quantity is then the costing is done based on that 100 quantities. So I'm not going to do like that, so that's why I just keep it as a disable. The next one is automatic route consumption. So in the production cycle how you want to consume the route, like it's based on the setup time, it's on the run time. In the setup time means how when the production setup is like production is started, you're going to consume this route. And in the even here also we disable the route consumption as well. So let's collapse this one. Next we move to the setups. In the setup part what we are going to discuss over here, like activation, job management, working time and the capacity. So here these are the four important operations, or we can call it as a functionalities that is gonna use in the route group. So it's like first is a queue before. Queue before means like let's say you have the operation like cutting or assembling, something like that. So in the in the cutting process the raw material are waiting in to consider in the operations like cutting. There is a some cost for this raw material to set up in the job floor. That cost can be calculated if this activation process is done. Similarly for setup, let's say you have the one machine for assembling to set up this machine for assembling goods or like raw material. There is a some cost is aligned with this process or setup process. Here in the system it's activated, so the cost get calculated for the setup and the process is important of operation. Let's say assembling process or cutting process, so both operations cost calculated if this toggle is enabled in the activation section. Similarly for overlap is in use when you are doing the parallel operation. The three operation are parallelly working, then the cost get calculated or estimated accordingly. You need to enable this overlap toggle. next is the transport. So you are in the same production facility, you are transporting a raw material from one place to another place to start the operation. This cost can be calculated if you are enable this one. And Q after means after the operation is done but the raw material are still there in the production floor, cost is assigned with that product. So this can be calculated. So let's we discuss this one by one. So activation, select this option to enable. So as I mentioned, if this toggle is enabled, it's considered for the calculation and the scheduling for the selected job type. If this activation isn't selected, the job type won't be enabled regardless of selection of other option. Means that let's say I have not enabled this activation process and enable the job management or working type. This doesn't make any sense unless this activation is enable job management. Job management, select this option, include the job type in the job management when the job run scheduling. But as we are going to use the discrete manufacturing, we are focused on the work time, not on the job management. So the working time is this, select this option to schedule the job type according to the working time calendar. So in our previous episode, we created a calendar and we assign this calendar to the operation resources. If we are not going to use or we are not created a calendar in the system automatically use a Georgian calendar in use. And the last one is capacity. Select this option to reserve the capacity for job type your job run job scheduling. As we are not using the job management, we are not going to use this capacity part. But for your understanding, if make this capacity toggle enable, it's a reserve the sources for this operation. So that's it for this video. In this video we first discuss about the route, create a route in the system for a finished good which we have already created. We created a route version, approve this route version, activate this route version. Then we move to the route group. In this video we are not created a route group as we are using the existing one, because in our previous episode for operation resources route we are using the same route group. So that's why we are not going to create a new one and we understand the some setups. So that's it for this video. In the next episode we are going to talk about the production control parameter. As you guys know, all every module in the dynamics have their setup section, we call it as a parameter section. So in the next episode we are going to configure the parameter part. So it's very important video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to get the notification about the new videos, and keep sharing your feedbacks. If you like this video, hit the like button and share your feedbacks in the comment section, and stay tuned with us for future episode, and thank you for watching.